Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a short but very interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Kershaw Launch 4. American made, Cali legal, but really cool. No matter who you are, I think there's a place for this for almost everybody. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to do something I don't normally do at the beginning of a review. I'm going to tell you guys this is going to be a recommendable knife, and I'm going to talk about it. It's basically exactly what it should be, exactly what it was designed to be. They did it perfectly, except for one little thing, which is a correctable thing. Fortunately, it's not like a damning flaw or anything. So this is a recommendable knife, US-made knife. It is an automatic knife, so be careful about that, but I will link it right down below. It's for a really good price, too, considering the materials. So, yeah, it's really good. Thank you so much to the gentleman who sent this in for review. I really appreciate that. And thanks so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. Link for Patreon right down below, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. All right, let's go ahead and get a measurement of this guy. It's a little knife. It was supposed to be a little knife, right? That's what they wanted to do. It's what they set out to do. Overall length is coming in at 5 inches, or maybe just a hair over. Blade length is about 1.9. Cutting edge is about 1.85. Size comparisons, let's just do a couple. Ontario Rat Model 1 and the Ontario Rat Model 2. Yeah, tiny knife, right? How about the Spyderco Para 3? Yeah, tiny knife. I think you guys get it, right? Let's go ahead and do carry profile. So thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. Not thick, about the same. Maybe, nope, they're exactly the same thickness. Height and length, I think this is pretty obvious. We'll do it anyway. This is a tiny object, guys. So up against the PM2 and Para 3, knives that a lot of people carry and have no problem with, this isn't going to be an issue in the pocket. I mean, even if you're wearing athletic shorts, honestly. Let's do a hardware check real quick. Get out my tools. Very inexpensive, very recommendable. You can find them down in the My Tools section of the description. The pivot is a T8. We have some T6 screws back here on the pocket clip and on the body, right? Pretty minimal, no big deal. I wish they were T8, but they're not. Just make sure that you have some quality tools, and you'll be fine. Let's go ahead and measure blade stock thickness. Here we go. Blade stock thickness coming in at 116 thousandths. That's about what I expected, so no big deal. There we are looking at CPM 154, an aircraft aluminum hard coat anodized aluminum. It weighs 1.98 ounces, right? But the ratios don't really even matter. And honestly, they're pretty much spot on. Blade length to overall weight ratio, right? This is a tiny 2-ounce object. It's not going to cause you any pocket despair. You're going to be fine. Yeah, so this was designed as, you know, an object that is easy to carry for, I mean, anybody, right? It is advertised as Cali legal, and that's because California has some really unfortunate and silly laws surrounding switchblades, right? Because that's what this is. It's a switchblade. It's an automatic knife, right? Switchblade is not synonymous with evil, but that's what people think, right? This is a sub 2-inch automatic knife that should be legal to carry in California, but I find that this is a convenient and really cool thing to carry in a lot of situations where I just don't want a huge knife on me, like in an office or like at a birthday party, or if I still want to carry, I'm still a knife guy, right? I want to carry something cool, right? Church, wedding, anniversary, cocktail party, right? A lot of situations in my life where something like this would come in super handy. I've handled a lot of knives out of the Kershaw Launch line. If you guys don't know, the entire Kershaw Launch line is their US automatic, like fully automatic, not their assisted stuff, their actual automatic knives. And they are probably the best priced US autos in existence. Now, I still think ProTech makes all the way around the best side opening auto, but they cost a lot more money, generally speaking, right? So they have a lot of really good ones in the line, the Kershaw Launch line, and then they got some goofballs. This is a good one. The handle I mean, it's kind of got this really symmetrical look to it, which is nice. I mean, this is one of those knives where I don't really care that I can't get a full 4-finger grip on it, because this is going to be a, oh, excuse me, sir, do you need your letter opened, you know, or your bag of Cheetos, your flaming hot Cheetos? Yes. You know, that's the kind of knife this is going to be, right? it's not big enough to really be scary. Somebody's afraid of this. Oh, you know, it's like, whoa, settle down, right? It's neat that you can deploy it that way. Now, it might be a little less convenient than some other smaller knives, right? But I don't like little manual knives because when I'm trying to get them out, I'm like, because I don't have the right leverage because they're so tiny. So even though, yeah, they're easier to put away because you're not working against the spring, I would argue that this is more convenient as a tiny knife. I don't really mind putting it away with two hands or even, you know, using one hand to put it away because you just push a button and it deploys. You put your hands where you want, right? Doesn't matter. I kind of lock it in back here on the pocket clip and then just push the button. You're good to go. So that's great. Chamfering, great. Fit and finish all the way around, it's fantastic. The blade profile, really cool. I kind of like that they, you know, put the emphasis on the cutting edge. You know, they can't do a dual edge because think about that. You'd have a sharpened edge sticking up right here, right? So they got a false wedge back here. Flat favors this side, so you got plenty of room to drop down towards a reasonably thin cutting edge. It's not going to be anything ultra performance oriented, but it doesn't need to be, right? It needs to poke and it needs to cut, and that's what it's going to do. CPM 154, still arguably the best, in my opinion. It's one of the best steels in existence because it's incredibly well balanced. And think about what you're actually going to be doing with this guy, right? Does it need to be? You're gonna be cutting open letters. I'm glad that it's CPM 154, right? But does it need to be like, you know, Vanax or S90V or no? It doesn't need to be. So that's fine, especially considering the price. It's really impressive with the price. The look of it, I love the look of it. This is really cool, classy. It's like kind of shadow tactical, but not so much. Like it's kind of just, oh, neat, little automatic pocket knife, right? The action is great for how tiny it is. Pow! It's neat. Little tiny thing. Still got plenty of power. Nice. Sounds good. Looks good. Buttons recessed a little bit, so that's great. You still have to be pretty deliberate with it. The only issue here, guys, is the pocket clip. What? Kershaw, is this really the clip that it comes with? Come on. We need a little tiny clip on this guy. Now, the reason I say it's no big deal is because there are lots of aftermarket clips that should fit that two-hole setup. I'm almost certain there are shorter clip options out there. This is ridiculous. It's almost the same length as the knife. That makes no sense. And while I'll admit it does make a good bracing point for your index finger when you're flipping it, it looks absurd. Does it cause ergonomic distress? I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I don't really need to grip it like that. Like, honestly, I would grip it like this, and that's probably why they thought, oh, no big deal. Because you can put your index finger in here and just hold it like that, right? It still looks ridiculous. That's my biggest gripe with it is this clip is a generic clip that they use on a lot of different designs, and they just slapped it on here like, that'll work, you know? And it kind of does, but I hate how it looks. The pivot's captive too, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So that's great when you're adjusting this side. Shorter clip, something aftermarket, right? But you know what? For the price of this guy, which is $80, $80 for something that's that small. That's the wrong voice. $80 for small knife? No. Small knife makes small price. Big knife make big price. Only way brain can think. That's unfortunate. Small things don't always yield small prices, right? It depends on what's going into it. In this case, we have a U.S. manufactured knife with really good materials, right? Generally speaking, your U.S. autos using aircraft aluminum and CPM 154, look at ProTech. Those cost between $150 and sometimes close to $300, right? So I don't really care that it's small. Considering all of Kershaw's other launch knives, the larger ones generally come in at what, 90 to 120. $80 for this guy? Yeah, no problem. It's almost a budget knife on this channel. 75 and less, it's almost a budget knife, right? No problem with that. You can afford to buy yourself a $10 to $20 aftermarket clip for this thing, and it'll still be pretty justifiable, and honestly, it'll look better. You know, and it'll probably operate exactly the same. And it'll probably carry better too. Something this small, I don't need that much of a clip, right? So yeah, the clip is the only problem with this thing. Everything else is good. I told you guys this is going to be a short review because there's not much to say here. The design is, it's one of those things where you know, it may not be like my most preferred knife ever. It's far from it. But for what they set out to design here, they did it exactly right, right? They weren't trying to make a big knife. Always people who only like big knives feel like they have to chime in going, that knife's too small to get anything done. Can't get anything done with small knives. I only like big knives. My name's Big Jeff. I only like big knives. Okay. They weren't like, gosh, how do we make a big knife? Oops. That's not what happened. They wanted to make a small knife. If you like big knives, then go, that's fine. Keep going and buying big knives. But listen, in my life, as somebody who does like larger knives, right? I like when I say larger, like the red. That ain't no big knife. I bet this new guy ain't never even heard of the Cold Steel Espada XL. Yes, I have. Shut up. Sometimes I like smaller knives, depending on what it is that I'm doing. And I'm going to imagine that a lot of you guys do too. They set out to make a Cali legal side opening auto, and they did it correctly. The nice thing is that this is appealing, I think, to a wide variety of different people in a wide variety of circumstances, whether they live in California or not, which is why I'm so excited about it. I also realize, 11 minutes into this, that I am late to the game. This knife came out a long time ago. This is just the first time that I've ever handled it. So yeah, be careful about where you put your palm. Many times I've done this, and as you can see, my palm is covering that tip. That's a good way to cut yourself. Make sure that you are backed up enough so that when you fire it, it does that. I know that for that reason, it's tempting to hold it like this, but that's a good way to drop the knife because you can see it's wanting to wiggle out of your fingers. So be careful with that. This is a good knife. You're probably going to have to buy an aftermarket clip unless you just want to choke down that original design, or the original clip, right? Which is bleh, but okay. Very good. Highly recommendable. It's going to go on my most recommended knives playlist. Absolutely. Guys, that's going to be pretty much it for today's short little review. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks again to the person who sent me this knife. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.